Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary Ellen, and in today's video I am going to be sewing the Nielsen Dawn jeans. Let's see here. I got this pattern on Black Friday, and it is now not Black Friday. Took me a few months to gradually sew this together. I got my fabric probably about a month after my pattern, so I can only do so much. Anyway, I sewed the straight leg version B, and I love how they came out. It was a bit of a journey. I had some fitting issues that I had to work through in the beginning, and I made the process a lot more complicated than it needed to be, but that's okay. I learned from it, and that's what matters. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll the video, and I will be back at the end and kind of go through some of the more nitty-gritty of my issues that I came across. If you are new here, please subscribe and like this video. Alright, so I want to start off by saying that this is my first time sewing this Dawn jeans pattern, and so because of that, this isn't going to be a very detailed video. It's going to be more of a vlog style. So here I am just tracing out the pattern pieces, starting off with the front and back pieces, and then moving on, later off camera to the other pieces like the pockets, pocket square, waistband, all of that good stuff. Okay, so I have all of my pattern pieces traced out, and I'm just going to go through them real quick. Start out with, this is pattern piece number 3, it's the front. And I am going to be sewing the straight cut first. So I just traced those, that front and back out, and I'm sure I'll go back and trace out the tapered and the wide leg versions at another point in the future, but for this video we're doing the straight legs. So number 3, the front piece. Number 4, this is the back piece of my pocket outline. You see? Have number 7, this is the fly. Number 8, fly extension. And 9, button fly. We have number 11, pocket facing, and then number 10, coin pocket. Have 14, which is the yoke. You have 15, belt loops, or the carrier as it's sometimes called. 13, which is the back pocket. 12, the pocket bag, and you use your fun fashion fabric, usually cotton, for this, so I'm excited to do that. And then the waistband, which is number 16. I like that it's curved. I thought it was going to be straight, but happily surprised on that. So I also have, I believe those are all of the pattern pieces that I'm going to need. I read through the instruction booklet once, and I think I cut everything out that I need. I recently ordered some swatches from Mood Fabrics for another project, but I went ahead and ordered some muslin fabric. It popped up as like an ad. I got 5 yards of 44-inch muslin, and it was a pretty good price. So got that here, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut out pieces for my muslin. So I will be cutting out the front, back, yoke, and fly facing. I do anticipate having to extend the front and or back rises. Here, just extending this point out probably an inch or so, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to sew it up as is, just baste it, and when I try it on, I will see how the fit is, and then just tack on an extra wedge for that extension of the crotch curves and see how that works. Just go from there. Alright, the fabric that I chose for this project is this beautiful classic indigo non-stretch denim from Blackbird Fabrics. I love it. I love the dark wash. So pretty. There's the wrong side. The thread I'm going to be using is this Gutermann Mara 30 thread. It's this nice kind of golden color. It's color 412, and I thought that would look nice against the denim. I have my pocket bags. I chose this really cute blue floral quilt cotton. I actually had this left over from a wearable muslin of a shirt that did not turn out the way I wanted to. It didn't really fit me right. That was before I discovered that I need to do a high round back adjustment on all my shirts, but that's okay. I repurposed the fabric, and I think it'll look really nice with the dark indigo jean color. Alright, so I'm starting out here with assembling my zipper fly. I ended up having to buy a different zipper that was longer, as the one that I bought from Megan Nielsen's website was actually meant for her Ash jeans, which have a shorter fly than the Dawn jeans. So that was my mistake, but that's okay. It worked out just fine. So I'm going ahead and sewing it down to, I believe this is the fly extension piece. I love these clips. I got them at Wawac. I'll link them below. They're much more affordable than the Clover clips. Or the Wonder clips. Alright, so now I'm attaching the fly extension to the right front piece of my jeans. I remember the first time I assembled a zipper fly, it was so intimidating and it didn't make any sense, but the more you do them, the more they make sense. Alright, and now this is the first bit of top stitching. So just top stitching that fly extension in place. This is my first time using actual like heavy duty thread for top stitching, and it was a journey, but My machine handled it pretty well. Here you can see how that top stitching turned out. I think, so this is a 3, I guess, millimeter stitch length, and I'll probably go a 3.5 next time. I think that would look better. Here I'm just attaching the fly piece to the left front piece. Alright, here I am clipping and sewing the 2 front pieces together at that front rise, starting at the clips that we made per the instructions below the rise, or below the fly pieces. And I did pretty much baste everything from here on, including this front rise, and I tried these jeans on a few times, and I made some more adjustments that I'll talk about in the end. Here I am attaching the other side of the zipper to the fly piece, as you can see. Here begins the top stitching of the fly. This is the first of 2 rows. This is usually the trickiest part to make look good with other, garments, to make that curve look nice and seamless. But I think I did a pretty good job. This second row is going in about 1/4 of an inch away from that first row. That's the spacing on all of the top stitching, if it's a double row in this pattern, and probably for other patterns too. Alright, here is the finished product of that double top stitching at the fly. You can see that there are some inconsistencies in the stitch length, so possibly I need to make that longer in future projects. I'm going to do some research on that. Alright, here I am doing the top stitching for the like the 2 front pieces when I sewed them together at that crotch curve. Since this is a 12-ounce denim, more than 3 layers are pretty thick and hard to sew through, so I didn't use a hammer to hammer down all the layers until the very end, but I should have done that earlier in the process. That would have made this part much easier. Alright, moving on to the pockets. Here I am doing my 2 rows of top stitching on the coin pocket. And then now I am attaching it to the regular pocket by way of top stitching again. I think it came out really nicely. Alright, here I'm attaching the pockets to the pocket bags at those corners. This is a little confusing because you attach it wrong sides together because you want your fashion fabric to be visible from the inside of your pants, not the inside of your pocket. But once I read those instructions a couple times, it made sense. Right here, I'm attaching the pocket bag to the front of the jeans at that curve, and then I flipped it under, pressed it, and now I'm top stitching that down. Doing one more row for a double row. Alright, now I'm just folding back that pocket bag to make it into a pocket. Just stitching that bottom edge to close. I ended up using a French seam. Now we are moving on to the back patch pockets. These I ended up moving from the original placement that you're going to see in the video, because after trying them on, it did not look very good. Just the placement was awkward. So I don't think I changed the new size pocket placement from when I was tweaking my muslin. So that's probably why it looked so awkward. You'll see later. It was like they're way too high. So anyway, I changed that placement and they look much better now. But this process actually wasn't too bad. I usually am not very good at patch pockets, but I think with a lot of things sewing, the more practice you get and you have, the better you get at that skill. So I think that is the same here. Alright, now I'm attaching the yoke. And then doing my top stitching, you can see here how close that pocket comes to the top stitching. It was not good. Here I am pinning the back pieces together, and then I sew them off camera. Alright, now it is inseam time. Like I said, my next sew along for a pair of Dawn jeans will be much more detailed and not as rushed as this, so I'll actually know what I'm doing. Also wanted to put in here, I'm 5'9", and I cut out the tall inseam for these pants, but I ended up taking about 3 inches off, so I think next time I will just cut the regular length out. Alright, now it is time for the carriers. As you can see, I sewed a long strip, did the double row of top stitching, and now I'm cutting this piece to length at 3.5 inches for a total of 5 carriers or belt loops. I made this long strip a little bit longer than probably I needed, but I forgot to trace this pattern piece out, so I just did the math that I had in my head of how long I needed and how wide the carriers needed to be, and it worked out. They're so cute. Alright, now I'm attaching these carriers to my pants before I attach my waistband. You sew them down 1 inch away from the top waistline of the pants. Here I am attaching my waistband. It ended up being a little bit short. That's because I had all those fit issues earlier on with my muslin, which again I'll go over in my outro. So I should have made my waistband a bit longer, but I just added a little piece to the other end. As you can see, this end was plenty long enough. You can also see here that I have gone ahead and repositioned my back pockets. They look much more normal than in the previous clip of me sewing my yoke on. Okay, here I am sewing on the other waistband. Since there are 2 pieces, an inner and an outer, I guess this is technically the inner, and it's folded up on the bottom edge by 5/8, so that when we top stitch, those raw edges will be enclosed. And now the dreaded top stitching. This was hard, but it was made way easier because I hand basted my waistband together. That's a trick that I saw, I don't remember where, but I used it on my Persephone pants. And usually when I've sewn waistbands in the past, they get all warped because the fabric gets stretched inevitably as you're top stitching. But this method of hand basting works wonders, and it doesn't take that long. And yeah, it makes top stitching so much easier. Yeah, this surprisingly wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. But yeah, the fabric just gets so bulky so quickly since it's a 12-ounce denim, like I said earlier. I think next time I'm definitely going to do a 9-ounce or whatever the next lowest weight is. But all in all, I think the top stitching turned out really nicely. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that journey of a video. I didn't keep in a lot of the footage of like making my muslin, and it just got to be way too long. But here is the short of it. I looked at the size chart. I'm a 38 bust, 32 waist, 42 hips, and that put me in a size 14, like perfectly. So I was like, okay, great. This is gonna work really well. It's gonna be easy. It never is. Made a muslin. I couldn't even get it over my thighs. So that was great. So naturally, I took the extreme route and I made a new muslin in a size 20. And of course, that is way too big for me. So that didn't work. So I went back to the drawing board and I ended up making a size, or I traced out a size 16 in the waist and hips, and then I graded out to that size 20 at the crotch curve, or I extended the crotch curve to a size 20, and then I like did a 20 all the way down the leg. Trying to think back. I think that's what I did. So anyway, I made that and I basted everything from the, like I did the top stitching around the fly and all of that, but I basted the crotch curves together, and then the inseam and the side seams. And then I tried it on and I ended up taking a little bit more out of the inseam and the side seams. The side seams ended up being, like my seam allowance ended up being like an inch. And I believe I took out like a quarter of an inch more out of the inseam. I can't quite remember. But something like that. And then I also took like 2 inches out of the waist. So, yeah, they were a bit of a Frankenpant, but that's okay. They ended up working and they fit really well now, and I'm going to wear them a lot. So that's good. That's what matters, is that we wear what we sew. A lot of my pieces that I made in the beginning of my sewing journey, I don't wear. And you know, part of that is just learning how to sew and what you like, but I'm kind of finally to the point where I'm really wearing and enjoying what I make, which is awesome. So in my next pair, what I'm going to do is a 14 in the waist and hips, and then grade out to a 16 or 18. I'll probably start at an 18, extend my crotch point to, or crotch curve to an 18, and then, you know, back down to a 14 around like the knee. I'll probably start there and try that on with a muslin and adjust if need be, but I think that will be a good compromise. And I will film another video when I do my next on jeans. Yeah, so I'm going to insert a couple photos and one video of me wearing them, like walking around, so you can kind of get a feel for how they fit. And I'm wearing them now, and I'm going to stand up and go over some of the fit issues that I'm still kind of having, but aren't a big enough deal to unpick everything and fix them. Okay, so the first thing that you probably notice is all of this extra fabric around the crotch. That is due to this being the size 16. So I think when I sew my next pair in a 14 in the waist and hips, that will take out a lot of this extra fabric and it won't be as baggy around here. I'm also getting a little bit of extra fabric here at the shelf of the butt, but they fit nicely. along this part of my butt. And the pocket placement I think looks really good. Yeah, I'm also really proud of my top stitching. It's only up from here. And sewing these belt loops was a task, but I brought out my hammer and I compressed a lot of these layers of fabric as much as I could, and that helped a lot. But all in all, I'm very happy with these pants, jeans, and I'm excited for my next pair. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be back with a Make 9 2022 video. And in that I will include like my sewing goals and intentions for this year. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.